right here, right now, officially. So go down as episode number 268 in your scorecard. You could jump on board 24/7, 365. It is easy. Apple, Spotify, everywhere you get your better podcasts. You also can jump on Twitter, artist formerly known as X, if you will, at Casey Stern. Get up into the bio, and that's where you can click and follow through, like, subscribe, and get on board the YouTube channel. 267 into 268 now videos, content, conversations, interviews, guests, players, managers, broadcasters, all sorts of folks who are on board, and lists and rants and everything that you want from not only baseball, which we'll do today here, but also basketball, football, hockey, MMA, and life as well. Life is good today if you're a Mets fan, and that's where we'll go. I want to break down what it all means as JD Martinez now on board for 1 year with the Mets. But always, let's not forget that we're presented by our good friends at Bet Online, your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, basketball, boxing, golf, and much, much more. They continue to be the fastest and easiest way to get all your wagers, including all your live betting and favorite casino and card games. They're all available right now, right from your phone. So head over to the website and get involved from your mobile device. Get home and get in on the action today. Remember, though, to use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. It'll get you a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts and we get started here. Please understand that while if you're a Met fan, you should be excited. I'm going to tell you that this is a very good deal. The way it's structured, the amount of money, and what JD Martinez can do. I am not here to tell you I think that the Mets are going to the World Series. I'm not here to tell you they're going to win the National League East. And I'm not here to tell you personally, if I'm being honest, that they're a playoff team, because I don't think that they necessarily are. And I don't know how much they necessarily want to be unless it happens by accident. But I know this. They're a way better baseball team today than they were yesterday, bringing JD Martinez. And the way it gets done, patience. The GNR song, all you need, just a little patience. They got it. They didn't balk. Instead, it comes the other way, and the best bat remaining on the market is theirs. Reportedly, according to Andy Martino, only $4.5 million of salary this year, remaining $7.5 million in installments between 34 and 38. So, and we're not talking Bobby Bonilla contract, but it'll be a while before this thing is officially paid out. It'll turn out to be about $12 million over 1 year, and that is a deal worth making to put JD Martinez in your lineup. Last year for the Dodgers ended up being a steal for them. $10 million a year for the Dodgers, netted him 33 home runs at his best offensive production in a number of seasons. And even though the strikeouts were up and he's going to miss, a lot and not make contact sometimes and all of that, he's a guy who is a power threat. He's a guy who's a professional hitter, and he's a guy that they desperately needed in this lineup. I have said time and time again, the obsession that Met fans have with Mark Vientos. Look, I like Mark Vientos. He's a guy with holes in his swing. He's got some power. He'll still get opportunities, but he was not a guy who was going to help you in this lineup being your everyday bat at DH. Clearly, you want to see Beatty a lot at third. Vientos will still get some time, but you needed that designated hitter, that bat who can bring some thump in the middle of this lineup, because you can't always wait for Pete Alonso's homers to save you. And now, figuring that JD Martinez likely in this lineup, it's behind Pete Alonso, you have another guy who can do that for you. David Stearns played this well. They ended up playing their hand, and look, it could have cost them, because I don't think necessarily they should have or felt comfortable or would have if Vientos and Beatty were really the options that they had, and this is where they were going, and the DJ Stewarts, and you can mix and match and obviously say, hey, we're going to take this guy off his legs in the outfield to put him at DH, but when you're robbing Peter to pay Paul and using four guys to mix in the DH spot, you are not as well suited as now putting a thumper in a guy who at least is going to give a presence in the on-deck circle behind Pete Alonso in this Met lineup. There are a lot of questions with the rotation. Obviously, good news on Senga. That will help. Obviously, we saw some good performances from the Manias of the world in spring training. That continues. That will help. But who knows what this team turns out to be. Remember, some of the guys they brought in, like Severino, like Manaea, could end up being guys who net David Stearns and Steve Cohen more via trade as sellers in the market, if even they're in a wild card race. And I know that's going to piss Met fans off. Then even if you're going to push the pedal, because they're not really a pedal pushing kind of a scenario right now, when you look at the differential between this team and we're teams that like the Braves in their own division and the Dodgers are in the National League. But there was a big time question about what was going to happen at the DH spot. Big time question for me about power in the middle of this lineup. They answered that and told that bell in a couple of different ways in bringing JD Martinez in. 36 years old. Is it possible that we're going to see, a slide? Is it possible that he doesn't hit as many home runs as last year? All of these things are possible. But again, just like Severino, 13 mil for 1 year, here with 12, when you're looking at this deal for JD Martinez, especially with the deferrals, it is worth the gamble because it's a Band-Aid. You rip it off, and it's not going to be sitting there, that contract, with you moving forward. It is just for this season. And going back to what I said, with guys like Manaea, with guys like Severino, here is yet another guy who could net fruit as a bat that could go on to a playoff team. If I know you don't want to think this way, but you got to think some long-term with where this team is right now. And as you play and work more kids into the fold and up to the big league roster as the year goes on, you may be in a spot where you're better off selling another 1-year deal where you can then prorated go make a trade and try and bring in, I'm not saying it's going to be big pieces, but a piece here and a piece there to try and make a deal and build for your future, because the future is not now for the Mets. But with this deal for JD Martinez, the now is better. If you're a Met fan, want to hear from you, you should be excited. And now all eyes in the free agent market are on Jordan Montgomery. Where will he go? Reunion with the New York Yankees, certainly possible. I've been trying to push Texas. Maybe that's a little even more on the back burner than it was. Lorenzen added. We'll see what that ends up doing for that team. Could the Red Sox get involved? The Angels have been kind of hanging in the wings with some of these free agents, but now Monty clearly in the crosshairs. But for now, if you're a Met fan, it's about JD Martinez, added for 1 year and deferred $12 million, and now another bat who can give you some legitimacy in the middle of a Mets lineup that had a lot of questions, still has a couple heading into 2024, days from opening day. You can keep it right here for all the sports, including plenty of baseballs you see behind me.